Hey guys, Casual Crono here. In this character development series, we are going to focus on Bertrand, normal style, and his Stellar Awakened skills. So Bertrand is basically an earth tank. He has personalities of Midland's Palace, Lance, Shield, and Earth, and that's it. He is, I don't want to say a common draw, but he does have a 4-star and 5-star available. So a lot of people can get him at least at a 4-star level. In addition, his Stellar Awakened items can be bought at Nopal's Emporium. So you don't have to waste all Cosmos star charts on him. You can just buy his regular charts and you can Stellar Awaken him. So my Bertrand is level 90, so if you don't have him Stellar Awakened, your stats will probably be a little lower than mine, and you won't have some skills. So he also has a true manifest weapon, the Aegis Defender, and when it is maxed out, he gains a few abilities on his skills, which we'll talk about. So first things first, let's look at his skills and gear. So he has Guardian Lance. It inflicts rage. If you have beaten his true manifest fight, it also will improve his health by 50%, and it stacks 3 times. So you can get his health to super high levels just by using Guardian Lance over and over again. In addition, if you have 2 Midland's Palace allies in the front, then the rage and his buff will increase basically double. So instead of 3 turns, there'll be 6 turns. The Guardian Lance also has a skill: if he's hit by a physical attack, everyone gets some mana back. Not health, like some tanks, but mana. Other good skills that he has, in my opinion: Ironclad improves his physical resistance by 70% and gives him knockback immunity once. It also restores any statuses. And his duration lasts longer if you have 2 Midland's Palace allies. He has Overbear, which reduces power and intellect for 3 turns. It inflicts pain and rage, and it also ignores target resistance. So he can be a pain setter for your team and reduce incoming damage, which he would be happy about because he's a tank. He's the one taking the incoming damage. And then the cover duration that normally lasts 1 turn, it can last more than 1 turn if you have multiple people. That's available only if you beat his true manifest form, the extra duration. Kingdom Spear is his Stellar Burst skill, so we'll talk about that momentarily. Other good skills: he can also reduce power and intellect by another 25% with Shield Slam. He has only 2 earth attacks if he's not Stellar Awakened, and one is a small attack and one is a medium attack. So if you use him as a part of an earth team and you blow the AF gauge, if you want the AF gauge to keep going, you probably want to equip one of these. I tend to use Rock Thrust, even though it's a small damaging skill, because it reduces earth type resistance. So that does help the real earth damage dealers doing damage. So he has a number of skills that can help. So if you have him at level 80 and not Stellar Awakened, I definitely recommend Guardian Lance, particularly if you have his true manifest fight unlocked, because it gives him extra health. I definitely recommend Overbear, inflicting pain and rage, and the rage does, there's no target resistance, so it's a guaranteed rage. This is pretty important as well to me. The third one, kind of your choice. If you're going to use him a lot in an earth team, I might recommend Rock Thrust. If he's fighting someone that does nothing but physical attacks, then Ironclad would really help. Or knockbacks. So it's kind of your choice what his third skill is. So we're going to go ahead and go with these for now. Gearing. He is a tank. In my opinion, tanks do really well when they have a lot of health. And as you saw in his skills, if his true manifest fight has been beaten, he can improve this health by 50% and it stacks 3 times to give him super high levels of health. So what equipment would be good for him? For weapons, any lance that would give health. The fishhook spear, especially if it is improved upon by the Wandering Blacksmith, it improves health. It gives him a mana regen, and then if it's leveled up with the Blacksmith, as the fight goes on, he can reduce damage even further. So that's a wonderful weapon to use as a lance tank. I still like the Elpis Bangle because it gives you extra hit points based on your light. There are other things. The Mujima Bangle also decreases damage over time. Subspace Bracelet gives him extra health and mana. And the Oriental Bracelet can improve your type and physical resistance. So I believe it's by 10% pretty much for everything. So you'll see that all damage except for magic damage or null damage is reduced a little bit if you use the Oriental Bracelet. So there's a few different items you can equip him with for armor. For badges, tanks like health, so find a badge that gives you a lot of health. 2,000, 1,000, 1,500, 1,250, even the 500 badges. Or if you run Toto Theater's World a lot of the badges there are HP 2,000 with a reduction of something. He doesn't have much mana magic points, so if you run Toto Theater's World, I'd probably recommend the HP plus and speed halved badge. It does reduce his speed, so if getting rage out is really important right away, that one's kind of, maybe, maybe not, but otherwise I used that badge for a long time. As far as grasta, anything with extra health is good, so if you go to the life grasta, look for anything that gives 300 health. So if you have the ore, you can get another 300 health by upgrading the grasta, so that particular grasta would be worth 600 health plus 5 speed. I also like anything that gives regen. Victory Celebration gives regular regen as well as MP regen. And depending on his light shadow points, you might want the ore that improves his health based on light shadow instead of just the static 300 health. So right now I have him equipped with 1 regen and then just 2 ore that have health and endurance. And this one has health and spirit, since endurance and spirit help reduce damage. Spirit reduces type, and endurance reduces physical. So that's my choices. With this stuff equipped and with 50 light, he has a base health of 13,000, almost 400. And his defense and magic defense are tremendously high. For tanks, he's probably one of the highest with physical defense alone. So when you factor in things like Ironclad, which improves his physical resistance even more, you can kind of already see the writing on the wall that he will reduce a lot of physical resistance down to pretty much nothing. So let's see how he works if he's not Stellar Awakened. To show off how he kind of functions without Stellar Awakening, we're going to go ahead and challenge the dummy. I have Tetra in the background to show what his max health can reach. So on the first turn, since he's a tank, you definitely want to inflict rage. You can do that with Guardian Lance or Overbear. You can use Overbear if you need pain, and if you want to reduce the enemy's power and intellect. Or if you want to go ahead and start beefing up his health, you can use Guardian Lance, because you need to use it at least 3 times to max it out. So let's go ahead and use Guardian Lance first. I have Tetra in the background so he can heal, and you can see how much health he has. So after 1 single Guardian Lance, he's at 21,000 health. Let's say that you need Overbear. You need that pain. So let's work in an Overbear. The enemy now has pain for 3 turns. Let's go ahead and do another Guardian Lance to improve his health even further. Tetra will heal him back, so we're at 25,000, almost 26,000 health. We'll do 1 more turn of Guardian Lance to max out the stacks. And now we are just shy of 27,000 health. And if we need to reduce power and intellect by now, you'll notice that it's fading, so this is the last turn that the enemy has of reduced damage. You could overbear again, or if the enemy's about to do some really powerful physical attack, you could use Ironclad and beef up your physical resistance. So you could, of course, just keep spamming Guardian Lance. Now, the one issue is if he's part of an Earth team, none of these are Earth attacks. So if you blow the AF gauge, he's not doing anything to keep the AF gauge going. So keep that in mind if these are your choices. If you do plan on using him in an Earth team, you might want to replace Ironclad possibly with one of the Earth attacks. Anyway, so we have a very powerful tank, a debuffed enemy, and let's go ahead and finish this off. Let's just overbear again. And let's go ahead and take this tremendous physical tank out on a little stroll. In order to showcase Bertrand with a free team, this is what I've come up with. Since he improves his skills with another Miglance Palace ally, Deirdre is a free Miglance Palace ally and also happens to be Earth. So we have Deirdre, we have Helena, Rika, and Bertrand. For grasta holders, we have Violet and Clart. Now, of the 4 frontline characters, Deirdre and Helena would be the 2 DPSers. Rika would be for healing and kind of defense and buffing, and Bertrand, of course, would be tanking. Since Deirdre is a DPS, she has the Pains, she has her Manifest Weapon, she has Guidance Bracelet, which improves her type attack, and a 25 power badge. And you can see the upgrades right there. Helena also has the Pain series. She has a Void Staff, which gives her 100% critical rate and improves her type attack, her personal armor, and a 25 int badge. Rika, being she's a buffer healer type, she is geared as such, so she has her personal weapon. She has the Subspace Bracelet for a little extra health, an HP badge of 500, and then she has 3 grasta, each with 300 health, and each one upgraded with the HP ore that you can get at Future Guerrilla or Underworld. So she is sitting at close to 6,000 health. And then we have Bertrand. Now, since this is mid-game gear, let's go ahead and downgrade him a little bit. Instead of, let's go to our health. Let's give him 1,000 health instead of 2,000. You probably don't have the Wandering Blacksmith for Fishhook, so what other weapons would be good for him? Well, we could just give him his Manifest. And as far as armor, we just need something that gives defense, so Oriental Bracelet. You have access to things that give 300 health and the HP ore, so let's get rid of this Victory Celebration and give him, let's go with an MP Restore with 300 health. Might help if I clicked save. So MP Restore, Lance, 300 health. So this type of gear you could get reasonably around the mid-game. That still puts him at almost 11,000 health, though keep in mind, since mine is Stellar Awakened, he has a few HP nodes and such active, so yours might be, a couple thousand less. So that would be mid-game gearing. As far as the grasta holders, she has things that would enhance Deirdre's damage, and Clart has items that would improve Helena's damage. So let's see what a good rotation would be. And then, as always, we'll go out and test it on something. So we want to inflict pain for sure. So we could either use Overbear, or Deirdre has Blood Cruelty, which also inflicts pain. So we're going to go ahead and do Dark Rays with her and use Overbear for him. We can reduce physical resistance with Spirit Ray. We can improve physical resistance and hit points for the team, or I can improve the party's power and intellect with Rika. So let's go ahead and improve physical resistance. And in her case, she is Stellar Awakened. Helena is the only free character that I'm aware of that can deploy an Earth Zone, but she has to be Stellar Awakened to do so. If she's not Stellar Awakened, I don't think any free characters deploy an Earth Zone. So that's kind of why I chose her. The other catch is I can only deploy it once the gauge has filled up, because Comet Tail will deploy it only in a Stellar Burst. So if you don't have her Stellar Awakened, don't stress. You might have a character that you can replace her with that does deploy an Earth Zone. So, anyway, I can reduce enemies' speed and improve Earth-type attacks, or I could reduce Earth resistance, and this improves consecutively. So let's go ahead and do the buff first. So turn 1 would probably look something like this. Oh, you know what? I forgot to remove Tetra from the group. We'll get rid of Tetra for the actual fights. Not everyone has him. Alright, we've cast Overbear, so we have Rage, so now we can start giving him health. She can go ahead and reduce physical resistance. We can go ahead and basically kind of do, if we have Comet Tail, we can use it now. There's nothing wrong with using it outside of a Stellar Burst. And we don't need Blood Cruelty right away. We could start doing Chaos Saber. It stacks 3 times, so I'd probably want to beef up her power around the 3rd stack area. So we have an Earth Break. Deirdre attacks. His health goes up. Turn 3. If I need defense, I could cast Ironclad. I could start Gaia Stomping. I can Earthly Casket, and I could Chaos Saber again. And a lot of this, of course, depends on what the enemy's doing to me, too. I take a look at the debuffs. Pain is still strong, but I am losing the debuffs on power. So we can do Overbear again. We can redo physical resistance. We could rebuff the Eartha-type attacks. We've done 2 Chaos Sabers, so they're stacking. So we could do one of the other skills if I need to improve my power, or if I need to reduce Earth resistance. At this point, the enemy is pretty debuffed. I have a mostly full AF gauge, and I also can Stellar Burst. So if I wanted to with this team, I could go ahead, use Comet Tail, and give myself that Earth Stance. And in his case, we could just do whatever, so why don't we go ahead and... why don't we Ironclad, why not?
This shield shall never be pierced.
We now have an Earth Zone. So now we can blow the AF gauge. When we do that, we could rebuff if we need to for Bertrand, otherwise he'll just use Guardian Lance. We just did Spirit Ray, or we just did Power Heal, so we might do 1 Spirit Ray and then Gaia Stomp. We could do We just recently did Earth Edge, and we just did Comet Tail, so she could just spam Earthly Casket. And now would be a good time to do Blood Cruelty, and then spam Chaos Saber. So we'll do 3, 1, 1, 1, and then all 1. So why don't we just do that? Make it nice and simple. 3, 1, 1, 1, and then just spam all 1s. Now remember, Bertrand is not extending the AF gauge during this time. So here, this free team has just knocked out the test dummy and did about 638 million in the AF gauge and did about 1 billion plus to the test dummy. So I think we have kind of a workable team here. So let's go test it out against a real enemy. To showcase the free team, we are going to fight Laclair's True Manifest fight. She is a water user, so she is naturally weak against earth. And she does mostly physical attacks as well. Not all of them are water though. She has an HP stopper at 75% and again at 25%. So we're going to start off, we're going to reduce her power. We're going to reduce physical resistance. We're going to improve earth type attacks. And reduce earth resistance again. We're going to Guardian Lance to start getting his health up. We're going to Power Heal. We're going to go ahead and Comet Tail. And she will start stacking her Chaos Sabers. You'll notice that so far, Bertrand is not taking much damage. And he is keeping the team up as far as mana is concerned. He took 2 physical attacks, restored everyone by 100. We're going to go ahead and cast Ironclad and improve his physical resistance even more. And do 3 earth attacks. We are going to go ahead and Overbear, Spirit Ray, and Earth Edge, since we're on turn 4, we're basically rebuffing, and Dark Rays. We can now use the Stellar Awakened skill, Comet Tail, and that will deploy an Earth Zone. In his case, we can kind of do whatever we need to do. We can Ironclad again, we can Guardian Lance. We just cast Overbear, so we don't need to do that one. So we'll go ahead and do Ironclad. And that should hit the first HP stopper.
You can't escape from my arrow.
Now on this turn, we can blow the AF gauge and get down to the second HP stopper. During that time, we'll spam Guardian Lance. We'll get in a power heal to heal the team. And we will just basically spam Earthly Casket, and we'll get in a Blood Cruelty and Chaos Saber. So we'll do 3, 1, 2, 1. 3, 1, 2, 1. I'm making sure to cast Heal, since he is improving his own health. I want to try and basically beef him up during the AF gauge. So that way when he takes these attacks, he can survive it. So he took about, each one was 2,500, so around 8,000 in damage. but we've already burned through her HP stoppers, and now all we have to do is attempt to defeat her. So we will Earthly Casket, we will Power Heal. We got in the over Ironclad, and we got Guardian Lance stacks, so we'll go ahead and do Overbear.
Medical support activated.
He is keeping the team fully up with mana. He's taking all the blows. He still has 12,000 health. We'll do another Guardian Lance. We'll do a Power Heal. We could do Comet Tail or Earthly Casket. Let's go with Comet Tail, and we will Chaos Saber.
Medical support activated.
And there we go. Leclerc's True Manifest down, and you got to see Bertrand tanking pretty much flawlessly. So that is an example of how Bertrand can be used with a free team. Now let's go ahead and build him for endgame situations. To showcase Bertrand in an advanced team, we're using my Earth team. We have Myunfa with this gear, Shannon as the main DPS, Shannon Alter, I should say, Claude as support, and Bertrand, and now he's geared pretty much the way we did at the beginning of the video. He does have the HP plus speed halved badge because Myunfa Alter is the one holding the 2000 badge. For back row characters, we have regular Shannon and Deirdre holding grasta that are intended to make Alter Shannon more powerful. Sidekicks, we have Morty and Guns. And Morty is equipped with Crystalline Claws to reduce physical resistance a little bit. And Guns is in the background because at any point when I empty the AF gauge, all member stats improve by 20%. So not only do my damage dealers have their power improved by 20%, but Bertrand's already high spirit and endurance get raised by another 20%. For skills, I now have Kingdom Spear, Guardian Lance, and Overbear. Kingdom Spear is his stellar skill. By default, he does an earth attack on all enemies, reduces piercing resistance, and stacks 3 Iron Wall on user. At each start of turn, he consumes an Iron Wall, he gains a 50% damage barrier, he improves his type resistance for 2 turns, gains status immunity once for 2 turns, and he restores 40% of his health. If I use it in a Stellar Burst, he will gain a 100% damage barrier till the end of the turn. So if I know a particularly nasty attack is about to happen, I could Stellar Burst at the start of the turn, and he gains basically damage immunity until the end of the turn. And as long as I use Kingdom Spear once every 3 turns, because it stacks 3 Iron Walls on the user, that means at the start of every single turn, I will have a damage barrier, type resistance, 1 status immunity, and I restore health. His Stellar board also, as long as I am in the front line, for the very first turn, I gain basically all damage immunity. Just for 1 turn, but other stellar skills, as long as 2 Miglance Palace allies are in the front, I get more light power, and if I activate the Stellar Burst, type resistance for Earth is reduced until the end of the turn. Now that said, I do not have another Miglance Palace user in the front row. Most of the Miglance Palace users aren't really that strong end game, except maybe for Annabelle ES, but she's not an Earth user. So this is the team I've come up with. He doesn't gain the bonuses that you get with the 2 Miglance Palace allies, but otherwise he's very, very powerful, and you can see he has a lot more health than he did in the previous example against Laclair. So let's check out this team in action. And the boss we are going to fight is the Shadow of the Swordsman. So we're going to go Iscariot, Dawning Hour, in the records room. This is a tier 10 super boss according to the wiki. 10.9 to be exact. And right now there's only one boss at tier 12, and tier 11 is basically the highest. So this is pretty up there as far as bosses go. Now remember, for the first turn, he basically has complete damage immunity. So I have a few choices. I could blow the AF gauge right now and beef up everyone even more. During that time, I could do Overbear, Guardian Lance, and Kingdom Spear. I can improve the damage of the team with Claude, reduce his power, the enemy's power, and then restore health if I need to. Shannon could reduce slash resistance, improve power, and then attack, and she ignores target defenses, which is nice. And Myunfa can deploy Earth Stance, begin praying, and then improve damage to alter Shannon. So I can do all 3s, all 2s, and then all 1s if I am fast enough. So let's go ahead and do that. 3, 3, 3, 3. Now all 2s. And now all 1s. And we'll see how many 1s we can get in. Alright, we did a lot of damage. Remember, first turn, he is pretty much immune to all damage. He took several attacks, so he counters and restores mana. Not that anyone used mana during the AF gauge. Now here on turn 2, he has Iron Wall stacked. And Gunce's aura is in effect, so now his defenses are extremely high. Since he has Bind, he only has one option, Overbear. I can cast Empathy on a character, and that basically buffs them up, so I can Empathy Shannon. Shannon, at this point now, can just do an Earth attack. I am in an Awakened Earth Zone right now, so she'll do a decent amount of damage if I haven't hit his HP stopper. In her case, we have Awakened Zone, we have a prayer going. So at this point, the only thing she can really do is please, or if I need to restore party health and mana, I can do that. So we'll just do please right now. Bertrand is still taking 0 damage. Bertrand took about 7,000 damage, but didn't really affect him much. We're going to go ahead and Guardian Lance to improve his health even more. This is turn 3. He has 5 turns of all of these abilities. She has 3 turns, so I could go ahead and buff up or just attack again. And we double check. We still have our prayer going, so we'll go ahead and just do please again. We hit, I believe, the next HP stopper, so Bertrand is taking all the hits. Once again, this tier 10 super boss was doing 0 damage to Bertrand. We still have our prayer, but we do not have an Earth Zone anymore, so we'll deploy Earth Zone. We'll go ahead and attack again. Attack. And he is completely bound at this point, so he'll just do a Lance Strike. We could actually show off his... Yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. Still taking 0 damage, tanking like a boss. He's still restoring mana to the team. And now he's at 23,000 health. If Claude had used empathy on him, Bertrand would have even more health, but as you can see, he doesn't really need it, which is why I empathied someone else. At this point now, what's bound? Pretty much everything is bound. I wonder if I blow that if it unbinds. Probably not. Alright, we will blow the AF gauge. We have our Awakened Earth Zone again. And we'll do... we're not praying, so we will pray. We'll go ahead and redo these. And redo these. If the bind ends during the AF gauge, I will go ahead and try to show off his stellar skill. So we'll do 2, 3, 3. He can't do anything until... and then we'll do 1, 2, 2. So 2, 3, 3, nothing. 1, 2, 2, nothing. Nothing. Oh, now we can. Alright. Kingdom Spear. When we use it in a stellar burst. Does it say? Should have said. Well, anyway, you will get to see the stellar burst. It doesn't really matter because we've already defeated the boss.
This shield shall never be pierced.
He does damage, and he beefs himself up even more. At this point, we're just adding insult and injury to this tier 10 super boss. But you can see, basically, Bertrand took a ton of hits. Pretty much they were all 0 damage, and when a larger hit did land on him, he had enough health to cover it. So he made that boss really, really simple. That's tier 9 or tier 10.9 Shadow of the Swordsman, just completely obliterated by Bertrand's tanking and Shannon's damage output. I'm going to attempt to show off his stellar skill on this. Really, the main benefit of him casting Kingdom Spear in a stellar burst, for the rest of that turn, he gains 100% damage barrier, so nothing can hurt him. Not that Curio was really hurting him to begin with, but whatever. This time around, I'm also going to have Claude cast Empathy on Bertrand, so you can see the huge jump in Bertrand's health. So pretty much, same fight, same characters, same gear, just slightly different use of the skills. So turn 1, deploy Earth Zone, slash resistance, Empathy Bertrand this time, and he's going to overbear. Right off the bat, you can see that Bertrand has 20,000 health. And that's just from the empathy. He hasn't started casting Guardian Spear, which is probably bound by now. Yep. So here, turn 2, we're going to blow the AF gauge. We've already done the 3s for everyone. So we'll do 3 for Claude, Mattis, Ares, and then so we'll do 2, 2, 3, nothing. Then we'll do 1, 1, 2, nothing. And if at some point we do gain the ability to cast things, we'll do a Kingdom Spear and Guardian Lance if we can. So 2, 2, 3, nothing. 1, 1, 2, nothing. Alright, we got a Kingdom Spear in. And I think we hit an HP stopper. because we got a Kingdom Spear in, he has his Iron Wills stacked. So at the start of each turn, he gives himself a barrier, improves type resistance, and heals. And there we go. There's the heal and the barrier. Alright, we're going to Guardian Lance to improve his health even more. We're going to attack. We're going to attack. And double check our buffs. We are going to attack.
Got ya. That hurt.
We do have the Stellar Awakened, or the Stellar Burst, available now. There goes another Iron Will. We still can't use anything, unfortunately. So I can't really show off Kingdom Spear, but if at some point I knew a huge attack was coming, I could Stellar Burst at the start of this turn, use Kingdom Spear, and I would gain a 100% damage barrier. So that's how it's used in a fight. It's kind of hard to control this, especially when I'm getting bound all the time. So anyway, we are on turn 4. That means the 3-turn stuff has ended, so we will go ahead and rebuff those. Are we still praying? Yes, we are. So we'll do a please. He will continue to tank like a boss. Notice he has 30,000 health, and that's still with only one use of Guardian Lance. There goes another Iron Will. Everything is still bound. So we will attack, attack, and I believe we are done with Earth Zone, so we will cast Earth Zone. We don't have Rage going at the moment. Since he hasn't been able to cast Overbear. Alright, looks like now we can. We're going to go ahead and blow the AF gauge. Actually, first, we'll go ahead and showcase... I guess we can't showcase Kingdom Spear quite yet. We'll blow the AF gauge, see if we can access Kingdom Spear during the gauge. You know, just like we did last time. So we don't have a prayer going, so we need to make sure that we do prayer. So 2. She'll attack and probably kill him. He'll attack, and he restores the team's health and statuses when he attacks. And we'll go ahead and Overbear and Guardian Lance. We'll see how much health we can get him up to. So we're going to do 2, 1, 1. Yeah, we'll do... Yeah, we'll go ahead and do 2. Why not that? We'll try to get his health as high as possible. So 2, 1, 1, 2. Let's go ahead and Kingdom Spear. So using a Stellar Burst, if he survives this, his defenses are at 100%.
This shield shall never be pierced.
We're at 35,000 health, by the way. We'll keep attacking. Guardian Lance again. Guardian Lance again. And how much health are we up to? 40,620. Thanks to Claude's empathy as well. And again, we pretty much had no major danger from the Shadow of the Swordsman. There was a period where Rage wore off, and because of the bind, he did attack other characters, but they were able to survive. Shannon came close to being knocked out, but everyone else no problem. So it's the same boss, but there was 2 examples of Bertrand just totally owning that fight. Stellar Awakened Bertrand is an extremely powerful tank. Don't waste all Cosmos star charts. Go to the Royal No-Pow Emporium, and his Magister star charts are for sale here for 400 each. So if you have 800 gems, and he has at least 1/3 awakening, you can go ahead and Stellar Awaken him just for gems. Don't waste the precious all Cosmos star charts. If you use him as a tank for a lot of things, he is definitely worth it to Stellar Awaken, in my opinion. As you can see, he makes fights where there's physical damage almost a joke, especially when well geared. And his health can reach incredible levels with good support characters. And even without Claude, you saw that his health was hitting the 20,000 mark just from spamming his Guardian Lance skill. So in general, he's an excellent tank. He's great for Earth teams in particular. And I really like him a lot. I've warmed up to him, and considering the fact that his Stellar Awakening is pseudo-free, definitely worth considering. So if you have Bertrand, those are some ways that you can use him. I hope this video helps. Casual Crono, signing out.